So yeah, and we'll continue to add ones at that upper level that get a tablet, and then we'll continue to add ones that are more at that random find excitement in the map that you don't know is coming. Because you don't want to put it all on one layer where you know everything that's coming necessarily, because then nothing is exciting. You can do exciting within that to some degree, but not always.
I mean, really it all is to say that like there are some of these that just aren't as good as the others and we just have to improve them. But what I will say is that the breach monster density is probably a little on the high side. Like it's actually to the point, by the way, where like we get a bunch of error messages in the logs for failing to spawn monsters in Breach because they're packed so tightly together that they don't even spawn anymore. So there's actually like there's an issue there that we have to do something
like
about.
Hundreds.
Yeah.
So actual hundreds of error logs of just like cannot fail to place monster due to lack of space.
Yeah. So like that we. It was a joke if we could release reduce breach monster density by 20% and the players wouldn't even see it because it would just result in less error messages for us. So, you know, like there are actually some stuff that needs to be sorted out there. But we don't want what I don't want is people to feel like, oh, we're just like nerfing that into the ground or something like that. We definitely don't want to do that. But some of the other league mechanics just need some addressing to make them as better. And yeah, they just need to be better. And yeah, it'll all just come down to us like experiencing them and seeing if they suck, we'll improve them. And like right now, I know that Strongbox has got the most improvement in this patch, and I know Essence has got like at least some adjustment to make them a little bit less crap. And there's probably a few more adjustments.
It's more about the combat than the itemization. That's something we still need to look into.
Right. So there's just stuff like we just need to improve all that stuff.
Essence is tankier.
Right? Simple as that, really.
Fair enough. How do you guys feel about the progression of players entering into mapping, going from map tier 1 to you're doing tier 16s, and then into Pinnacle Boss? How do you feel like the pacing in there? They give you, one reason I bring it up is in PoE 1, we have like the quest invite version of boss fights that will happen at different iterations, so you probably know where I'm going with
so we're not really happy with how that is right now. Like we're not happy with how the quest, the quests that effectively we give you are just like do X many of tier Y maps. And honestly, like we can do a lot better. That's kind of a larger. It's something that I would have loved to be able to just solve instantly, but like it does need some more work. And I think there's a few different areas of this. So one of them is that like just the way the progression feels just isn't as good as PoE 1 in some way. That's kind of slightly hard to define. Like in terms of just like the feeling of like the progress you're making just isn't quite right. So I think we need to do more. Like there might be some changes we have to make to how the Atlas works to make that better.
Certainly want some bosses between those points.
Yeah. Like it just needs more of a feeling of
random ones. I mean like actual ones. Still along a series of objective-driven kind of narrative-involved things where you're getting your. It's still an end game, not pinnacle. Boss at tier 6 and maybe at tier 11, and there's the quest versions, and you're doing those, and then maybe there's Uber versions, and I'm just rambling.
There just needs to be more going on with regard to how that progression feels. So that's one element. So the next one is that the tutorialization of the end game is not really there. Like we need to do more around this so that like it actually sort of eases you into end game a little bit better. As far as like if you're a new player, like we kind of just throw you in the deep. Like we fixed a lot of things about the introduction to the game through the campaign, but then you get to endgame and it's kind of like we don't really do enough to kind of really ease you in there, I would say. And then I did have a third point, but I can't remember what it was now. There was something about that. Oh yeah, that's right. And it sort of ties in a little bit to what I was. This kind of was covered a little bit with what Mark was saying just a second ago. But like the way that you progress through the tiers, like you can go through the tiers too quickly and then you kind of get left behind with like what rewards you should be getting, and like in order for us to fix that we kind of need to make each tier more meaningful with regard to what you have to do there and what's going on. So there'll probably just be more there at endgame just to kind of make it feel like more of a progression and more of a and that can include more storyline elements and more things like that. There just needs to be more basically just there to make that progression feel better. The game does take a bit of a turn suddenly when you get to endgame of like it doesn't really feel like it really does